Congolese. The cursed land. The country that has a lot of wealth, but it is useless to its citizens. Belgians have a lot of reasons to apologize to Congolese as a country that colonized Congo. There are numerous facts for this. In this video we are going to see what happened to Congo Belge, or Congo as Belgian colonies. Congo Belge, a former Belgian province in Africa, coextensive with the current Democratic Republic of the Congo, that was administered by the country from 1908 until 1960. What do you think Belgium or other European colonialists would pay African countries for these atrocities over the exploitation of African country in more than a century? After worldwide outcry over atrocities in the former, privately controlled Congo Free State, the Belgian parliament established it to replace it. The official Belgian approach was paternalism. Africans should be treated and educated as children. Traditional rulers were not allowed to participate in legislation, but they were utilized as agents to collect taxes and recruit labor. Uncooperative rulers were removed. When France and the United Kingdom collaborated with their colonies in the late 1950s, in order to prepare for independence, Belgium continued to present the Congo as an idyllic region of European-African parent-child interactions. Following World War I, private European and American firms made significant investments in the Belgian Congo. Cotton, oil palms, coffee, cocoa, and rubber plantations, as well as cattle farms, were developed. Gold, diamonds, copper, tin, cobalt, and zinc were mined in the interior, and the colony became a key supply of uranium for the US during WW2. According to a law implemented in Belgium in 1922, Africans labored in the mines and plantations as indentured laborers on 4- to 7-year contracts. Forced labor was used to build roads, railroads, power stations, and public structures. From the beginning, African resistance posed a threat to the colonial government. In 1919, a rebellion erupted in various eastern areas, which was not put down until 1923. By the 1920s, anti-European religious movements such as Kimbanguism and the Negro Mission in the west and Kitawala in the southeast were active. Unrest grew during the Great Depression, 1931-36, and World War II. Because political organizations were illegal at the time, reformers developed cultural clubs like Abako, a Bakongo organization that was founded in 1950. Patrice Lumumba and other Congolese politicians founded the Congo National Movement, the first nationwide Congolese political organization, in 1958. After a protest asking for the Congo's independence, rioting erupted in Leopoldville, now Kinshasa, in January 1959. Violent altercations between Belgian forces and the Congolese also occurred later that year, and Belgium, which previously maintained that independence for the Congo would not be possible in the immediate future, suddenly capitulated and began making arrangements for the Congo's independence. The Congo became an independent republic on June 30, 1960. Here is the chronological event of Belgium in Congo, through which you will hear all of the events that occurred in Congo. Actually, Belgium has a lot to say, a lot to help, and a lot to bring back to Congo, not only the culture staff, but also the wealth of Congo that they have exploited for over a century. Leopold commissioned Stanley to establish the king's authority in the Congo Basin between 1879 to 1887. At the Berlin Conference in 1884-85, European nations acknowledged Leopold's claim over the Congo Basin. 1885, Leopold declares the formation of the Congo Free State, which he would lead. Belgians conquered Katanga in 1891-1892. Eastern Congo is wrested from the hegemony of East African Arab and Swahili-speaking traders between 1892 and 1894. 1-inch 908 Congo is annexed by Belgium amid protests over mass executions and crimes committed by Leopold's agents. During Leopold's reign of the Congo, millions of Congolese are alleged to have been slaughtered or worked to death. Antoine van Bilsen, a Belgian professor, publishes a 30-year plan for giving the Congo more autonomy in 1955. Following significant nationalist protests in Leopoldville, Belgium begins to lose control over events in the Congo in 1959, now Kinshasa. In 1960 June, Congo becomes independent with Patrice Lumumba as Prime Minister and Joseph Kasavubu as President. In 1960 July, Congolese army mutinies, Moise Tshombe declares Katanga independent, Belgian troops sent in ostensibly to protect Belgian citizens and mining interests, UN Security Council votes to send in troops to help establish order, but the troops are not allowed to intervene in internal affairs. In 1960 September, President Kasavubu dismisses Mr. Lumumba. In 1961 February, Patrice Lumumba murdered, reportedly with US and Belgian complicity. In 1961 August, UN troops begin disarming Katangese soldiers. In 1963 Moise Tshombe agrees to end Katanga secession. In 1964, President Kasavubu appoints Mr. Tshombe Prime Minister. Approximately 40% of the 10 million or so African slaves who arrived in the New World between 1500 and 1870 embarked on the dreaded Middle Passage at the ports of the Congo and Angola coasts. Roughly the Atlantic shores of Africa south from Cape Lopez to the vicinity of Cabo Frio. The mainland trading networks that channeled slaves to these ports are the primary focus of this chapter, though aspects of the high seas trade that affected inland trading operations are also discussed. The chapter seeks to identify the economic and political tensions that drove uncounted African lineage headmen and petty political officials, as well as kings in several large and well-known states, to provide for their kinsmen, dependents, and subjects. To a variety of European and African traders, who then led chains of these unfortunate captives down the maze of trails leading west to embarkation points scattered along the coast. The horrors associated with the forced movement of people through this system receive little attention except to illustrate the relatively impersonal demographic, ideological, financial, and technological conditions that encouraged the trade's well-known cruelties, painfully.